Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with the rank 1 Protoss in the world in the red, the smiling assassin. It's Hero. Facing off against the former world champion Zerg, now with the StarCraft 1 drones in the blue. We have Rogue, in a best of 9 Protoss versus Zerg Grand Finals to the Enki EPIC Series, and the StarCraft Evolution Complete mod. The mod that brings StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 together. So if you like either of those games, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. Now we got the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? No, we're not taking a vacation. 1,769 likes on this video, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better, as the hatcheries are already being produced for Rogue. Since queens are relegated to their original role in the skies, hatcheries are the only way to get the masses of larvae you need in order to pump out those Zerg units. The Overlord is going to find its way to the pervert pillar. It might be a detector, but you don't need detection in order to shake your tentacled Oh, wait, actually, what's going on down there? You know what? It's too early for this. Moving on. Hero sends out his first Adept. The players will be switching between their StarCraft 1 and 2 counterparts with each game. It appears that Hero either drew the short or the long straw. Not sure which one it would be in this case, to get the StarCraft 2 Protoss. But, well, apparently, when you just don't build any Zerglings, those Hydras coming out, not nearly as strong as their StarCraft 2 counterparts, but, you know, coming out this much earlier. Meanwhile, the Adept, 2 drone kills. Unfortunately, no answer to this whatsoever. No Zerglings. He could have built Zerglings. Let's be clear here. Rogue digging a little too deep and too greedily into the tech tree. Very awkward pathing for some of these drones, though dodges into the assimilator. Sorry, extractor. I don't know how I messed that one up, but Adept, 6 kills and counting. Another Adept. The revolving door could do 8 drones dead. It's an economic disaster. Hero exploiting the mobility of those very first Adepts to slaughter a significant chunk of the economy. Now the Hydras have finished their speed upgrade, and our stunner stepping down isn't enough. Just barely. I don't think he had anything else at home. A couple more Hydras are popping out, but not nearly as strong as their more developed counterparts. But is newer always better? Or should we stick with the classics? Well, he couldn't make it here today, so that question may still remain open. Evolution chamber at the front. Maybe a little bit late for things. The Adept still a deadly option. Behind this, Hero has charge on the way. Did not go for a Stargate. Instead, relying on that early Twilight play. Bit of a different dynamic. We have metabolic boost, as well as, is that ranged attack? Oh wait, no, that's groovy spines, the Hydra range upgrade. The models, the animations, and the tooltips as well, either drawn directly or inspired by their StarCraft 1 counterparts. The units, the stats are tweaked to be competitive with StarCraft 2. Of course, but nothing's going to solve the problem of Adepts in your mineral line when you have no Zerglings. All right, I believe the StarCraft 1 solution to that is the same, which is have any units, Rogue. Sorry. Not sorry. Well, Hero, 44 probes, and no gases at the natural. The minerals have a little bit more to them. I'm not sure if the gases as well. Yeah, 2,500. Slightly more resources per base, which is generally favorable to the StarCraft 1 factions. Their workers also mine slightly quicker to balance out the macro mechanics like mules and chrono boost. But does that solve the problem of, oh, he's going to wall off with hatcheries? What a play! Okay, Shakespeare, calm down. The Guardian Shield is good, but he just splits back. The force field really doesn't end up doing much. Hero just goes straight through. And in the Valley of Death, the Zealots are cut down one by one by the massive Hydras. And Hero has never found a way into a position he couldn't get himself out of, including a winning one. As we go into Karis Passage, that's the name of the map, and also you can tell what it's named after. The canyons in the center, these tiny choke points. Hero thinking better about fighting in such a location again, though. The fact he did it the first time is very on brand. More extractors on the way. 3 more. Is he just going to let it finish? Why not? It worked out so well the first time. The lair is only halfway done as Hero has severely delayed any potential tech. The Hydra's going to cut off the Zealots. Much cheaper as well, it's important to point out, than their StarCraft 2. It's 75-25 as opposed to 150. Watchtower down the center, I believe. Oh, several sets of destructible debris. No, they have less HP. Quite a difficult map. There's something about it. Both satisfying and uncomfortable at the same time. Like so many things in life. Moving on. Spire is on the way, and Mutas, a very real threat, especially considering that Hero didn't even bother with a Stargate, which means he could be bothered at great length by the Mutalisk. Rogue, with that many hatcheries early, contributed to his vulnerabilities, but at the same time, contributes to his ability to bounce back from it. He's already at 59 drones, and StarCraft 1 Zerg does not require as overwhelming an economy. You have such units like the Muta, and then later on, Lurkers, Devourers, Guardians. I don't think I've seen a single Guardian in any of these professional matches. Ooh, gold minerals. In case you didn't notice, the seasonal workers as part of the SC Evo mod, they gave them hats. All right, that's some real content right there. They're absolutely free. I don't know how long they'll be on the mod, but you can get them today. Those are the skins we need, Blizzard. The Hydras will eventually take out the Zealots, but the hatchery goes down first. Not exactly a glowing trade for Hero, but a trade nonetheless. Ooh. Battle report is even, like, themed. 14 Zealots dead for the hatch. Gets a few Hydras on the way out. 11 Mutalisks in production. And they are definitely stronger in many ways than their StarCraft 2 counterparts. More range, as well as a certain method. You'll see it. All right, they're about to flock out. They've done a great job with making the... I didn't play Brood War. I don't have these rose-colored glasses that it seems like half the audience needs a prescription for. And I can subscribe for Existential Dread. How's the back pain? Moving on. But I feel like StarCraft 1 just had such a distinct vibe to it. Partially because of technical restrictions, and partially because of technical direction. But here come the Mutas. There's absolutely no anti-air but 1 sentry right now. The Mutas starting to work their way through the Zealots, but Hero not intimidated. Knows there's no going back, so he might as well go forward. The Mutas working their way through. The Immortal tanking a lot of damage. The Zealots caught in the choke point yet again, but the Zealots are in the mineral line as well. Just tanking all of this. A single Stalker. The Zealots swarming over the drones. And there is no wall to stop them from getting into the natural. Yes, he may clean up the Protoss, but the Protoss are going to be sweeping through the mineral line simultaneously. The Muta count is so damn high, but the drone count is dwindling rapidly as the Zealots in the main with +2 attack, just eviscerating everything they can get close to. Unfortunately, the Mutas are not one of those things, but Rogue, it's hard to tell. It's 11-1 supply apiece. More and more Mutas. How are you going to deal with 21 Mutalisks? My instinct says poorly. But he's good at base trade. There are cannons coming up. The gold base for Hero. Rogue is coming back to defend. Blink is done. I honestly am not sure how the Stalkers are going to do. That doesn't seem like enough. But the Zealots just keep dragging him away. He's just going to go for the fight. He's trying to take out the Stalkers before a critical mass. The Mutas stutter stepping, or stutter flapping, I guess more accurately. And yeah, the Stalkers are barely making a dent in the Muta count. But the Zealots doing much more than that with yet another hatchery at the 3 o'clock location. Chasing it down, the Stalkers are knocked into the unit's loss tab. But the Zealotlings are absolutely everywhere. A few Mutas back at home. Rogue can't come back anymore. He's lost so much. He's down to 45 drones. It's a disaster economically. But is there any stopping the Mutalisks? He's got 20 of them. There are no Archons, no Templar Archives, no Phoenixes, no Stargate. It's just stalkers. He's got to sandbag these. Oh, but a prism gets into the main. The zealots, they don't stop and they can't stop, as he's entirely relying on the base trade potential of the zealots and the warp gate in order to come out ahead. He recalls into the main. I assume those are stalkers. Far too late. Amuta's running around, well, flying around the field. Rogue is down to 30 drones. An absolute bloodbath to open things up. Another stalker taken out. But the warp prism, a couple Scourge could have helped to knock that out of the sky, but here we are. Hero has the supply lead. He still has 60 probes. Rogue has chased down... Wow, that's crazy. And like a mining platform or something? Well, technically, yeah. 18 stalkers against 23 mutas. It's still not enough. But he also doesn't want Rogue to get the map control here. The zealots split off yet again. Might be able to cut through the hatchery at the natural. The stalkers will be hunted down, but the zealots again gonna take quite a toll. And Rogue, every single time he's been at less and less workers. He's down to 26. This game has been all about cutting down his economy before the Zerg juggernaut can go crashing through everything else. The mutas trading with the stalkers. It's +1 carapace in the sky against +3 attack for the stalker. Yes, I feel like I said stalkers too many times there. But Hero does have a lot of stalkers. It's because he's so famous. The mutas will take down the prism, but the zealots have already warped in yet again. And more drones will die. Well, maybe not this time. The mutas are actually back in time. But here's some more stalkers. Not again. Gotta keep your semantics satiated. Rogue is finally adapted to the situation. Hero has 23 army supply, but he still has all these bases. Who's the Zerg player here? 20,000 resources lost for Hero with his StarCraft 2 Protoss against less for Rogue, 17.8k. Still very costly. But Hero has mined 8,000 more minerals. A little less gas. 100 zealots dead. Well, the Overlord's actually spotting for this. He knew the army was there, but does Rogue have enough to fight it? +3. That Warp Prism is very important, but Rogue doesn't want to commit to taking it out before he has to. Splitting off just a few mutas and Zerglings, but the Stalkers are no match for these superior mutas. The Zerglings caught in front. He's targeting down 1 muta at a time. Still pretty cost-effective for Hero. And as always with Hero, it's not about how many units you lose. It's about how many you can replace them with. The war of attrition continues, and Rogue has taken a decided downturn. The Zerglings will get us around on some of the Stalkers. The mutas swing in to pick off the rest, but it's 72 probes. If he loses every single unit, I don't know if Rogue can do enough damage to get through the cannons. Fortunately for Rogue, 1, there's no wall, and 2, there's no cannons. So you know what? Makes it a little bit easier to get the damage done. Zerglings in the main, overrunning the cannon. The probes, the hats won't protect you. 5 probes dead. Zealots warped in. Mutas, the Zerglings. Now they only have, in fact, there's +2 ranged attack, which is completely useless at this stage. The Stalkers recalled out. Rogue leading him around, but look at the supply. The mutas have done their job, but unfortunately it was a disaster before they even got here. Typical. Still cutting through the probes, but it's too late. The Hydras are back out. Maybe if he could have gotten the Lurkers. I don't know if he researched Lurker aspect, but GG. Hero cuts through in game number 1. quite a brawl. Back and forth. Rogue just kind of ignoring Hero's units, and then Hero continually demanding the attention he deserves. Both players, well, Hero was going straight through Rogue, and Rogue was trying to split into multiple parts so he couldn't hit him, which sounded more dramatic. I'm thinking of a Party the Red Sea sort of situation. Anyways, now we're going to one of my favorite maps from SC Evo. With Hero now picking up the StarCraft 1 probes, which look crazy, by the way, with the hats. They've got the crazy eyes. Don't look at my eyes, look at the probe's eyes. Don't talk to me or their son ever again. Interesting implications, but even the pylon's a bit more rough cut. Bespoke, if you would. Anyways, we're on Holy World, where, if I remember correctly, can't see it now, there are some disruption webs, neutral disruption webs, there's some crazy mineral blockers, there's a whole lot of nimble navigation that has to go on in order to maneuver around the map. And it is a 4-player map, though we are in close positions here, which means more dramatic antics are likely possible. Maybe not plausible. Rogue has his StarCraft 2 Zerg. So, both these players, I'm not sure of their StarCraft 1 experience, but since they're Korean, I assume they have some sort of genetic memory, even though both of them are significantly older than StarCraft. That doesn't matter. I got a present for you. Is he gonna proxy a Templar archives for Dark Templar? What else could this be? What do you do? Wait, he doesn't know where Rogue is. Ah. Oh, there's a ramp at the bottom. Sorry. This ramp goes up. He doesn't know. This is actually about as far as... This is further than it would be if it was in his main. But it is hidden. I do love the warping in noise from StarCraft 1. It's really the sound design for me, if you know what I mean. Why did I say it like that? I think it is a combination of the technical... Everything had to fit on a CD-ROM. And most of you know what CD-ROMs are, not like many of the pro players in SC2, but we already mentioned how's the back. But when was the last time you burned a CD? Which is a good thing, by the way, for the 7 people watching this who never had a CD drive in their computer. Like, psh, Winter. I accidentally taped over Star Wars on VHS, and my dad was really mad. Wait. Someone? Relatable? I don't know, I'm a little out of my depth here. Anyways, the Overlord gets taken down by the Goon Squad. Hunting across the map and... What is this hero? A Reaver Rush! Reaver! Oh my. Double Robo Reaver Rush with a shuttle in the corner. Here's the neutral disruption webs, by the way. Just hanging out. Disruption web like Blinding Cloud, but much more crazy. He's going double Robo Reaver. Which, well, I have no idea. And neither does Rogue, so this could either be a game-winning volley of scarabs, or another creative way of Hero losing the game. There's a Spire on the way. The Reaver with its weird hand. Just... No, don't do that. Hungry Reavers. Starts the Scarab production. They do... Each ball costs, I think, I want to say 25 minerals, but I'm just spitballing, if you would. Which seems appropriate. The shuttle. Shuttle speed is on the way. The robotic support mate. But here comes the shuttle. Reaver! blast through the queen with one of those blue balls. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Oh, hero, the reaver, don't pick me up. You can really see what I love about this is the StarCraft 2 players so used to the Brenda. Oh wow. The reavers, they're just crawling their way here menacingly. And this has been a disastrous moment. Oh. A shield battery on the way. 2 shield batteries. We're coming. Oh, like the plague. Well, actually that'd be helpful here, but going for the larva, the mutas will pop out. Wait, will Hero lose the game because wait, there's 1 Dragoon. Can he micro 1 Dragoon in and out of a shuttle? It's not a warp prism. Oh, but the drones! Before he's splitting the reavers with speed, he's targeting, juggling the reavers, the most explosive clown show. Fires off another shot, maybe has 1 more in him. He tries to save the day. There's no way. Yeah, it just bounces back. There's a casuals out. 15 drones dead. And I think Hero lost, by the way. This is such a Hero build. He's like, I don't know how to play this game, but I think reavers are pretty cool. This is 1 base still. Oh, yeah. I think he just lost. Meanwhile, get off me. No! Corsairs. This is private property! You can't. Brenda. Oh, he didn't continue. He didn't build another scarab. I can't tell. I think Hero's dead. Despite the reavers crawling their way across. Yep. Rogue survives the trickle-down reavers. Hero didn't have a asking whether or not he could rather than whether or not he should. If he had spent 1 more reaver on a Stargate earlier and gotten a few Corsairs out, maybe. But, you know, I'll let that one slide. Hero giveth and Hero taketh away. So far, despite the slightly different circumstances in the SC Evo matches, Hero is, as always, taking initiative. For better, and oftentimes for worse. But most importantly, for more entertaining. And that's why we're going to game number 3. And thank you. Hero. Let's see. What are they laughing about? Quite a discussion. We'll just leave it. This is a StarCraft Evo modcast. There's definitely some shout out to my Korean fans, by the way. Kamsamnida. There are several of them. The rest are watching, you know. SC Evo is actually probably more popular than SC2 itself. In fact, probably the most popular thing about SC2 in Korea, unfortunately, but I mean, good and bad. And it's so well done. I gotta get back to playing some more. I've been addicted to the roguelike campaign mod. But SC Evo, they're working on an actual ladder. Since the intern is definitely not implementing it, but the amount of work they've already put in. Almost every unit that is specific to StarCraft 1 and many of the buildings now has its own custom model. Not just, originally they were the ones like dragged from the campaign and such, but these are different than the Blizzard models in the StarCraft 2 campaign, like the Goliath or the Defiler. They are all custom for SC Evo and the kind of theme they are looking to put on. I think a lot more true to the Brood War S style, whereas StarCraft 2 is clearly like somewhat ironically reimagined for StarCraft 2. Rogue back to the StarCraft 1 Zerg. So far, both players struggling with their StarCraft 1 counterparts. I think partially because, much like many of us getting into a new strategy game, at least speak for yourself, when you have new options, you want to just go for those options. This is kind of the logical fallacy, I guess, we get with every balanced test patch in the few times we've had it, where people go on the testing server and they're like, well, they changed Hydras, for example, so I'm only gonna make Hydras. Well, in what game do people just rush to Hydras? Even in StarCraft 1. Like, the answer? None. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, there might be, don't be pedantic. You know what I mean. But you have to test in a real environment, not a vacuum. That sounds like it sucks. Meanwhile, though, hero with a new variation on just walk up and kill him. Which is, this time instead of 2 Adepts, it's just a Zealot and a Stalker. This is just disrespectful. Got him. An Oracle on the way. Hero with 2-gate Stargate. I think he got the Stargate before they expand, too. Kind of crazy. Got a creep colony in the main. Oracle comes in, drones go out. You can explain that. Oh no, he doesn't have an Evo chamber, so he can't build a spore. Oh, it's a disaster. That Oracle just as deadly, if not more so, to the StarCraft 1 drones. Well, the same amount is deadly, but it's just harder to get spores. Also, spore colonies, I think that's the name. One, while they look intimidating, they cannot uproot. Not winning any beauty contests anytime soon. So, they cover a bit more range and have more DPS, but they are not going to go chasing down the Oracles anytime soon. Not that Spore Crawlers in SC2 are the speediest creatures, but what's happening now? Oh, the rocks. We got some more hatcheries on the way. Rogue already taken those early hits. Again, not devastating, but certainly not comfortable. Yeah, hero. Again, just like with the shuttle last game, we're seeing players somewhat adjusting to these slightly different ranges of things. Like, the shuttle feels like the Warp Prism, but it doesn't have a long pickup range. The Spore Colony looks or serves the same purpose as the Spore Crawler, but it has more range and more DPS. So, just those literal edge cases sometimes make it more interesting. I want more reavers. I like reavers. I have a lot of favorite StarCraft. And again, I don't have those rose-colored glasses. My eyes work fine. For now. But, reavers, and I actually really love the sound of the StarCraft 1 Ultras. And Goliaths. No. I would pay so much. Just for the StarCraft 1 Siege Tank. Not even the model, just the sound. If I could switch the StarCraft 2 Siege Tank with the StarCraft 1 Siege Up and firing sound. That's it. Alright, I'd pay for as much as I paid for all these games. Back when you had to do that with a CD-ROM drive, remember? I think by Legacy of the Void it was digital download. Though I have my collector's edition over there. With a CD, or I think a DVD-ROM that also I can't do anything with. Never opened, by the way. Like Beanie Babies, I'm sure it'll appreciate in value. Force fields. Hydra's locked in. But with whom? Here comes the Oracle as well. The Hydra's getting cut apart, though, by the charge lots. I feel like Rogue is misjudging these fights because they're still Hydras. Just the baby version. And having 20 Hydras against 10 charge lots doesn't necessarily give you an advantage. Those zealots just like a hot knife through malleable Zerg flesh. Did the Oracle die? No, Hero with a kind of surprising attention to detail there. Kept it alive. It's his only unit on a control group. Yep, those are Hydras. Revelation lets him know. Lurkers are being researched. And then, okay, that's more like it. There's the Hero we know. Now, did he notice? And does he remember that Lurkers used to be researched on the Hydra? It wasn't until... I don't remember if it was Legacy of the Void or several years in as a balance patch, where the Lurker Den was moved from the Hydra Den, which was actually a buff, because then you could get Hydra upgrades and Lurkers at the same time. But in StarCraft 1, you have to pick out your Hydra evolutions one at a time, so... Now, the force fields cut out a chunk of the Hydras. Now, obviously, the Zealot should not stick around, as maybe one Hydra can squeeze down. Meanwhile, Warp Prism, Zerglings, going to work on it. The Zealots are targeting the base, and he'll get the 4th hatchery, or the 4th base, rather. I assume there's definitely more hatchery. Though that was quite costly, especially considering he's going to lose the Immortal, the Sentries. The entire army is dead. All he has left is a Prism, 3 charge lots inside, Disruptors in... He's like, well, let's see. Ah, the enshittified Reaver, the Disruptor. What if we took a Reaver and made it so you could miss? All right, say no more. He didn't say anything. He's Protoss. Well, we'll see. I love you, Hero. Did I say that out loud? Hero's like, yes, but this time we're also gonna do Reaver Drop. Just the New Age version. He's got a Warp Prism with it. We're gonna do Ruptors. What is this upgrade? Okay, wait. I need my... Jimmy, give me my tool tips. Overlord speed. Increases Overlord speed by 249%, which is a very specific number. I assume they're trying to line it up with, I don't know, the StarCraft 2 version? Not entirely sure. Those Lurkers. Disruptor shot thrown out. Clips one of the Lurkers. Disruptors, though, still not enough to one-shot them. 2 is enough, though. 18 more Hydras in production. A Queen's Nest as well. Huge warp in. Hydra's brought back. Whips another Ruptor shot around the corner. Hits just as many Zealots as Zerglings. But the Zealots on the side. Yeah, here. Okay, well, only 1 Zealot. Thought it was worse. Hive has begun. The triple Evo chamber. Just uncomfortably pulsating its way to stronger Zerg. The Hydra count is 33 Hydras slithering through this uncomfortably small gap. The Disruptor shots are flung out. And knock out some. Enough to kill. Oof. Another big chunk of Hydras. Beautiful force fields from Hero, but the Hydras are intercepting the army on the other side. Disruptor thrown out. One very unlucky Hydra. But Hero's getting put in the corner. The Disruptors have recharged. He recalls out. And all the Disruptors are saved. Meanwhile, Zealot counter into the natural. The Hydras trying to pull together a defense. I assume these are from a Warp Prism, but not in... Otherwise, how did they get in here? Hero works in mysterious ways. But Rogue has gained quite a supply lead. And StarCraft 1 Zerg is not necessarily known for it. A supply lead is a significant... Ooh. I love the adrenal glands. That has to be adrenal glands, right? Yes. Yes. Intense. Why am I making that? It sounded right. Moving on. Ugh. Overlord ventral sacs, of course. I don't know why I'm zooming in. The icon is the same relative size. But it takes up relatively more of the screen. Wait, is that even true? feel like I just contradicted myself in 2 sentences. Alright. Like and subscribe. Or else. The Disruptors, but the Hydra's right on top. Fires off a salvo. Takes a chunk. The Zealots to box out, but pylons have died, and now Hero can't even warp in. 6 pylons in production. He must construct additional if he has hope to reinforce this push, but fighting into that many Disruptors is a fool's errand. His best chances, well, now would be the time for Mutas. But Rogue does not have a Spire. He only has Lurkers, which, without a Lurker range upgrade, the Disruptors are more than capable of chipping away at the Lurkers one by one. Oh no! The Raptors fire everything! And it's a disaster! He misses all of it! He hit some of his own Zealots! But the Zerglings jump the Raptors! The panic fire! Spray and pray! But who is your god now? Oh, there's the prism. Praying to the super pylon there in the back corner. Also, so he doesn't accidentally select an army hotkey it. But Rogue wipes out the Raptors. Once again, not Reavers. It took Mutas to deal with Reavers in the last game. Disruptors, it just takes Zerglings. How sad. Immortals and Archons back at home, but Rogue is bearing down. And an Overlord drop. All the Overlords get Overlord drop once you research that expensive upgrade. And now, absolutely everywhere. We have on the left, we have on the right, and we have down the center. Rogue is diving in and clawing his way towards a victory. 175 to 125 supply. Hero scrambles away. The Nexus is dead. The Zealots are dying. The mineral line's gutted. And almost everything is depowered. A comprehensive disaster for the Smiling Assassin as the executioner upstages him in game number 3. Another salvo. Takes one Lurker, but there's more where that came from. Rogue has taken the lead. Quite a series. Hero, in typical Hero fashion, is like, I'm gonna do the same build even harder. And somehow with different units, but at the same time, also the same build. And again, it gets him killed. And that's why we love Hero. Not because he asked whether or not he should, but because he asked whether or not he could. And this time he could not, but it's the trying that counts. Not for the score as well, right? But in our hearts. Again. Is this the right order, Jimmy? I'm not entirely sure what the rules are about switching between StarCraft 1 and 2. Maybe it's a loser pick? No? Maybe? I don't know. Either way, Rogue is the StarCraft 1 Zerg. Maybe they decided beforehand. It doesn't matter. All that matters is good games for the fans. I'm not going to read into this too much, but if you speak Spanish, por hablo español, should check out Enki. Enki TV. Now, if you speak Spanish, you probably already know the channel, because probably the top up there with the Latin American casters. But he put this on with partly sponsorship from me, but because I try to use we're going to break the fourth wall just a little. And if it was Heroes, it'd be even easier, but I try to use at least half of the Patreon every month as kind of a trickle-down support for other tournaments. It depends. I sponsor some individual tournaments, and it's an investment. It's not a handout, but matches like this, Wardy's Weeklies, the Monday Night Weeklies, pretty much most weekly tournaments in some fashion. A lot of the one-up. We're looking forward to the OSC Championship as well. Also some King of the Hill mat. What I'm trying to say is I like to see good games for the fans. And honestly, personally, I like things that are a little bit different. Arguably a little bit better. I would still like regular StarCraft 2 50 to 75% of the time. But I could use a little more variety in my life. Which is why I have a second channel where I cast Beyond All Reason and play StarCraft 2. Roguelike campaign and stuff like that. Winter Gaming TV. But when it comes to still professional StarCraft 2, I'm not even going to put an asterisk on it. We'll put a plus. StarCraft 2 plus so StarCraft 3 if you add them up. Here we go again. This time Rogue built Zerglings. So he shouldn't be losing most of his drones to the Adepts. Though Zergling speed's still pretty far off. Really, Hero? Wow. He's just gonna do a warp gate push. He decided to expedite the process. He knows Rogue wants to build up ideally to that Hydra. The Hydra den's already done. So Hydras are clearly the target. Hydras are not light units. Okay. Much like your mother. But neither are they heavy. Which is actually, I believe, a thing in Brood War, though adapted for the mod. They don't have a tag. Their only tag is biological, which means they don't take extra damage from Stalkers nor Adepts. It's just they don't have very much HP. It's kind of the key point. Hero slaps some Adepts into the main. Gonna chase down some more of the Zerglings. But the Lings are struggling. There's not enough of them to deal with it. Only 3 hatches. A couple sunken colonies coming together at the front. Though the Adepts can still kind of circumvent them. And the expansion Hero did not want off the natural. Which means he's gonna lose some probes back at home. It's not like Rogue has a booming economy, but the Sunkens are on the wrong side to protect the hatch. Then again, wow, he just gave him the runaround and... The time he's spending killing the hatch might give Rogue enough time to build up to defend, but at... Oof, those Sunkens burrowing through. Hydra's helping out dramatically. But that shield battery, it isn't much, but it's enough to maybe turn the tide here. Now Hero just battering down the door and shading right past it. Oh no, almost all the Adepts survived to get into the main, and Rogue is already down 10 workers. It's getting to the point where even if this army just spontaneously disappeared, it'd be hard for Rogue to recover and counterattack. Hero with ye old random gateway timing. The Hydra's chasing. Shield battery, a few more dregs. The energy constantly low. A couple of Adepts actually get into the main. We'll take out the Zerglings, and now the drones are so vulnerable. He can't afford that. Each one of these is a nearly double-digit percentage of his economy. Right? The Adepts get caught. I think Hero's just leaned on him for too long now, and at some point he's gonna give. At some point he'll break. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. There is no upgrade finishing or big round of units popping out. It's just more of the same. Actually, probably less in general. The Zergling counter. If somehow these Zerglings kill 15 probes. Not quite. Not quite. Rogue building his Sunkens behind the hatch, which is understandable, yet means they haven't really come into play. The Adepts are just circumventing them entirely. The sunken colonies have significantly more DPS than a spine crawler. They can't move, though. So the Adepts just kind of ignoring them. Meanwhile, Zerglings get in and will kill a few more units. More Adepts will shade into the main, though. and continue to dismantle the defense. Mostly invalidate it rather than dismantle. The effect is the same, though. The Adept shade in, the Adept shade out. Can't explain that. At some point, either he breaks the colonies or the economy. And Hero has lost some probes, but he's got 40 to 14 drones. Rogue, I'm not sure he... actually, I'm pretty sure he grasps how terrible this situation is, but he has no choice but to work with it. It's too much damage. 10, 9, 8. He's gonna try an absolutely sad counterattack. And then he decides to transition into the GG. Understandable. 2-2. Hero. With a very simple, yet incredibly effective build. We're going. Now I'm just confused. Rogue maintains the StarCraft 1 Zerg against the StarCraft 2 Protoss. A bold move. Again, I'm not entirely sure what the rules were on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rogue picked out a spite. That hat looks crazy. Honestly, it looked better on the StarCraft 1 probes. I'm saying it. All right, I'm just gonna say it. I don't want to judge a probe by its looks, but somebody has to. Unfortunately, I think I'm getting sick of these incredible games. I don't even think... Is that an is this a 4-player map? So we're going to try to get as many casts in as possible. I went outside, which was a big mistake, I think. So we may have a few days. I can feel it. I'm old enough now. We keep establishing this, but I can tell when it's going to go sideways. And that vacation Jimmy has been asking about may not be... maybe happening one way or another. But until then, well, we'll try to get enough content so nobody notices. Besides random references and me trying not to sneeze for about 12% of the cast. You're welcome. What is this, Hero? Okay, that's a Forge and a Twilight. Wait, no, it's not a Twilight. It's a Forge and a Cyber Core. Oh, he's cannon rushing. Poorly. Now, Rogue sends one drone. Oh, he's sending the rest. Well, I mean, the hatch. There's already the drone here. You're locked in here with me. It's like one drone, whatever. All right. The probe will die. Is this worth it? Well, here we go. He's going to build... Can he build a sunken? He doesn't have the money. He starts it now, gets in, and the drones don't have great surface area. Does he target the drones or target... Well, the sunken's not done. I have no idea how much damage it does combined with all this. He's getting the Zerglings. If the sunken dies, this is a disaster for Rogue, obviously. Oh, it's close. Calculated. Ugh. Ugh. You know what I mean? Well, here comes the Adept off to the side. We're gonna make good on whatever space this ostensibly created, but I think this is the best early game so far for Rogue. Well, I guess he won one of them as StarCraft 1 Zerg, so that would probably be the best one. But... And again, the Adepts are just completely ignoring any semblance of a defense. How is Hero supply? Oh, he lost the pylons. He got supply blocked off his proxy pylons dying. The drone citizens arrest! Stop right there, criminal scum! This time, the drones, the Predator drone strike is enough to kill those ridiculous, infuriating, those adepts. An Oracle's on the way, but getting the adepts is a huge deal. Before, even if he didn't kill more drones, the amount of time and attention that were focused on dealing with them at all. Now Rogue has a slight worker lead, and Hero seems... Well, he's just got a cannon out here. There's an Oracle energy recharged. Now, there are Hydras. Speed is halfway done, but with no spores, the Oracle has a real opportunity. Ooh, there's a gold base down the center. Interesting. Oh, I guess both sides have it. Now, every point of damage is important because that Oracle, there's nothing to stop it besides the Hydras. There's no other answer. So he's just boxing out for now. Hero clearly trying to sneak by, but the Hydras, and speed is about to be done. Hero slips by. Gonna find an angle. Couple drones. But with speed, able to minimize the damage.
Certain you deserve that.
Jimmy. It's proxy time. You're like, didn't he proxy last game / every game? I said it's also this game. This started with a cannon rush. It won't end with one. It may end with charge lots. We'll see. The Oracles kind of combined. Well, wait, did he spot this? No, this is just a happy little accident. This is just the normal attack path. He was going to try to go through the rocks on the side, I think. Oracle comes back. Group spawn's done. He desperately needs some spores, but they're not even... There's nothing there. He actually could get a lot of damage. Hero doesn't realize for a second. One of the Oracles! Gets taken out. Another one. Still some Adepts. Just running around and around and around and around. The Shades continuing to menace the mineral line. But Hero has been sending out everything. He only has a few soon-to-be charged lots back at home. He's on 2 bases with 37 probes. +1 attack is done. Does Hero even know about this?
Research complete.
All right. Hero is not. He doesn't have a pylon there. He has absolutely no vision. And what he doesn't know can very much... Oh, he's checking. I think he's about to figure it out. And he may have enough time to react, actually. As the Hydras are not getting through. Oh, it's like an extra... This had way more HP than a normal set of rocks. And, of course, Hero. I can't tell if he wanted to try to flank this or just base trade. But here we go! Rogue, you have to go forward. There's no going back. Might want to try to wall off the natural. He's buying whatever time he can. The Hydras are jammed into this corner. The charge lots. Oh, yeah, just let him in. Here we go. Are we going to go into an elimination race immediately? I think so. The drones, the probes. Hydras in the main and the natural, and those are the only bases Hero has. He has 408 minerals, which is just enough to build another Nexus, which may become very relevant soon. Some of the probes on the run. A couple drones coming out as Rogue is also acknowledging this situation. 35 Hydras against 21 charge lots. Broodlings don't even pop out of StarCraft 1 buildings. So, he's just going... Hero needs to build another building. He's got a pylon out here. The building count is dwindling rapidly for both sides. Rogue has re-expanded. That +1 armor is actually a huge deal against the Hydras. The +1 armor is going to finish, and that's a big boon against the mass Hydra composition. Where are Hero's probes? Is he going to take the gold? Of course he is. So Hero expands to the gold down the center. Rogue is on the 3 o'clock. Hero has 6 probes. And, wait.
Hive cluster is under attack.
So Hero knows where the expand is. Meanwhile, sorry, the other way around. Rogue knows where Hero's expand is, but Hero does not know where Rogue's is. The thing is, there's still an Oracle, which is a pretty huge deal. A single stasis could undercut the entire army. The army supply... Oh, no! He has to back off. Hero will want to fight during this. And for good reason, but that choke point, he's using the stasis as a choke point. The Overlord's spotting for it. It's not like anybody's producing. There's only single-digit... Hero literally, if he accidentally canceled his Nexus, which I'm not putting past him. Oh, no, what about your Hydras? They're on the run. Hero's at 57 over 0. It's a no-build mission now. I think Rogue was going to try to base trade, but the 1-1 charge lots. The Zerglings are coming around the corner. Hydras are retreating up the ramp. There's still sentries. A force field could be devastating, but the army itself, there's enough energy for a He's going for the Nexus! He needs to recall. He does so. Maybe just enough zealots? But Rogue is retreating to his hatchery. You have to fight. There's no... Oh, he's go... What? Is there another drone? There's multiple extractors out there. He's going for the full base trade. No, this is a disaster. Hero has enough minerals to build assimilators. This is a ill-fated... As long as he gets 1 probe out, and he does, by the way. He's targeting the Nexus, but he can just build... He builds a pylon! And the thing is, he might even get the Nexus! No. Hero lives! It was an 11-minute game that ends at 1 supply for Rogue and 1 building... 1.1 buildings for Hero. But Hero takes another. What a, the technical term, I believe, is clusterfuck. That was. It says right here. So. Well, of all the games I've ever seen, that was certainly one of them. But wait, there's more. As still, neither player on match point. Hero has regained the momentum. We'll see. Again, Rogue. Now, what confuses me is Hero played the StarCraft 1 Protoss once. If Hero was just playing SC2 and Rogue SC1, that would make sense. But... here we are. Hero tried the Reaver drop. It's like, you can take the StarCraft. Wonder if Rogue is regretting that decision. Hero using very similar tactics of Adepts and Oracles to even greater effect because there's no Queens. Alright, the Queens in StarCraft 2 might be relegated to macro in early defense, but without them, there's nothing to hold the Zerg together. You're goddamn right! So, honestly, I'm already surprised that Rogue doesn't have an early pool. After all this, maybe this time rushing to Hydras will work. Last time was a cannon rush into Oracle. I do think some of it is Rogue just that muscle memory being off because he's playing the StarCraft 1 Zerg. And he's by no means out of it, to be clear. Like, it's 3-2. It just feels like Hero, once he gets the ball rolling, just Katamaris his way into a victory. And I want to see more Reavers, and this is denying me that opportunity, so I'm just saying. somewhat upsetting. Rogue with 3 hatch. I wonder how a hard wall, or at least a temporary hard wall, would work out against the Adepts. It's just... And now this is... It's partly because in StarCraft 2, you don't have to tell each worker how to mine minerals, because they're not nearly as dumb as their StarCraft 1 counterparts. Obviously, in SC Evo, we're on the StarCraft 2 engine, just adapted with the StarCraft 1 units, but that is why things like Adepts and Oracles and Reapers, and if Zerg had something, I'd put it here, are more of a design choice. Because you don't need to give yourself carpal tunnel just to remind your workers to mine correctly. Ah, finally! Rogue builds a wall to keep the Protoss out, who cannot comprehend such things. Many gates, no doors. Wait, yeah. Just looks weird because they haven't yet fully globulated. No, he isn't the awkward. If he could cancel it. Now, Hero knows the same thing. Will he do it? Ah! The Adept Shade was stopped, and he didn't reissue a move command before Rogue was able to re-stretch the evolution chamber. But it's just that one. And behind this, again, Hero mixing it up. No Stargate. It's gonna be a blink rush. Unfortunately, the hatch... Well, this is happening. But when that finishes, that's also a wall. Right? He's just gonna have to do the same thing again. Okay, well, this is happening. Huh. Rogue, I'm not sure you thought this one through. Now he has to kill his own Sunken while it's actively killing the Adept. Bit of an own goal. So Hero's on the other side of the map, so we know this is not him playing. Though I wouldn't put it past him to be playing as himself. The Hydra's in the main, but cancels the shade. Lair is already on the way. Why do I smell mutas? Like burnt toast. Wait. He's got gases. He's getting a 4th gas. Feel like Hero's figuring this out in real time, which is how the game works, so that's not crazy. Getting Hydra range. The hallucinated Phoenix comes back in. There's an Evo chamber on the way. Was it spotted? That lair taking its sweet time. But Blink is already done for the Stalkers. That'll be an interesting trade with the Mass Hydra. They don't have range. The Sunken, though, can be targeted. Zergling speed is on the way. Sunken taken down. Adding some more creep colonies. Rogue, the reflex to spread creep is ingrained. And no Spire. Just adding the upgrades, +1 ranged attack. Zergling speed, Hydra range, Lurker aspect. The Phoenix will scout all of it, though it's hard to tell. Now that's the difference of not having a separate Lurker Den, is when you see the Hydra Den freaking out, you know it's upgrading something, but you're not sure what. Obviously, Lurker should eventually be the choice, but the question is how quickly. Array of Zerglings. Interesting, the larva spawns on 2 different sides of this little edge of the map here. Hero with a slight supply lead. Queen's Nest on the way. The Hydras. just stutter stepping past the emotional support fields. And, well, it's limiting some of the DPS, but the Hydra's, even against +1, quite good here. The Immortal left out. Not that it's particularly great against any of this, and Hero forced to retreat. Probably a bit taken aback by how effective those Hydras were. And now the Spire is on the way. Is there a chance he goes for Guardians? For the first time? Just give me a thumbnail opportunity, Rogue. That's gonna be reavers. I love reavers. Hive is on the way. Those are charge lots? Indeed. And once again, the Warp Prism comes in and is gonna undo a lot of the defenses of Rogue. But so far, just a few lurkers to hold down the bases. More hatcheries on the way as well. Spire's nearly complete. I believe 2 Scourge could just knock that prism out of the sky. Don't know if Rogue really is factoring that in, as Scourge are something painfully absent from Zerg and StarCraft 2. Kiting back. The Zerglings thinned out quickly. The Blinkstalker's keeping so much pressure on. Hive is nearly complete. Warp Prism comes in. He's actually gonna fight, which is optimistic considering he just lost the Warp Prism, though the Zealots may win this fight, as the Hydras are relatively weak of their own accord. The Lurkers slicing through the Stalkers. StarCraft 1 Lurkers are much better against light units, whereas StarCraft 2 Lurkers have a bonus to armored. So these Lurkers are better suited for dealing with Mass Zealot as opposed to Mass Stalker, which is an interesting role shift. Though they're pretty good against both if you get enough of them. No, not again with the Ruptors! Fires off a shot! And mixed bag. Lurkers. There's a single observer. There's no overlords here for detection. Just the Scourge with the Spire. A lot of damage being dealt by the Lurkers, but they will be taken out. And wow, the supply is a bit of a disaster for Rogue. His army thinned out, and the Protoss army still intact. A lot of it bruised, but Disruptor shot around the corner, knocks out the Lurker. The Sunken Colony not nearly enough to deal with all this, and I think Hero's just gonna walk up and smack Rogue out of yet another game. More of a game of it, but from the very start with that haphazard wall off, it seemed a bit awkward for Rogue. And Hero will take yet another victory, put him on match point. 4 games to 2. And we'll see. Are we gonna force Hero to play StarCraft 1? Again, I'm not sure, but that does seem to be the trend. I don't even think these StarCraft 1 factions are significantly weaker, or weaker at all necessarily, but obviously these players are more comfortable with their usual tools rather than fancy new or old ones. Well, Hero. It's like, oh, I have to play. Yes, this time, as we go into Radeon. Hero with the StarCraft 1 probes. And Rogue back to his StarCraft 2 drones. It is interesting we see in some of the larger professional tournaments for StarCraft Evo. Some, I'm not going to say no name, but some significantly less notable players. That's the same thing. That somehow sounds meaner. Find success against even the top pros because of their knowledge of the StarCraft 1 units. Now, there's no substitute for the kind of killer instinct and micro potential. The thing is, in almost every tournament, personally, I really like playing StarCraft 1 versus StarCraft 1. That way you don't have to deal with these pesky StarCraft 2 races. And you can do any of them. If you've made it this far and you haven't yet tried out the mod, it's free. You can just add an extension mod the SC Evo Complete extension mod. You can find more. The info's in the description, right, Jimmy? I know no one reads it. It's there for the AI to summarize poorly, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, scevo.net is actually an amazing site that describes all the differences, the updates, of which there are many more than to the base game we're using here, so. What I'm trying to say is, and the AI works. You can play against the AI. It is just as, if not more, competent. You could set the difficulty, by the way, as the StarCraft 2 base AI. Or you could just play as StarCraft 1 factions against StarCraft 2 AI as well. That works. So, you don't even have to involve other people. I never like to. How do you think I'm getting sick? Other people. Bullshit. Sorry, children. The worst. How's the back? How's the college fund? Not for you. For them. Well, we'll see what Hero cooks up. The Iron Chef. In game number 7. It's best of 9s. Been all over the place. Though we still haven't seen too much extreme late game. As for the most part, it seems like Hero very happy to luxuriate in the early mid. I think Rogue keeps trying to drag it out to when Zerg is in both StarCraft 1 and 2, conventionally very strong, that 200 supply. Though I'm not sure anyone's gotten the 200 supply yet in this series, so. StarCraft 1 Zealot, much tankier. By that I mean it has 20 more shields. Not sure about the actual damage. Then it's, StarCraft 2 counterpart, has those fancy nerve cords. What could go wrong? I'm sure that won't come up as a plot point. Stabbing through, but Rogue's Zergling micro is near perfect. Manages to kill 2 Zealots, losing only 4 Lings. Hero, constantly adjusting his wall off. But it is a wall now, I think. Is he going reverse again? Rogue, you better not kill him. Oh, it's a drone rush, son of a bitch. Uh-oh. Well, that shield battery is very helpful. Thing is, it's literally one Zealot holding the door. But there's multiple wait. Whoa, this is a mess. Santa's coming, and what is he bringing? Murder! Well, okay, the drones are leaving. The probes seem like they want to chase them. The probes are coming right back in. The mineral walking on either side, just disrespecting the army units themselves. But it feels like Hero has pretty much held. And if that Reaver comes out, the Zerglings could be thinned dramatically. The Robo itself is taking a lot of damage. I don't even know if shield batteries can re-shield buildings. Don't you dare kill that Robo Rogue. I'm gonna be so upset. How dare you? How dare you? Well, he kills the Robo. Disappointingly. But well, the Zerglings keep coming. As the game... Wait. Okay, it's not the first Zergling rush that gets you. It's the 3rd or 4th. And then Hero just dies. Okay. I was so upset about the Robo dying, I hadn't really acknowledged the situation. And apparently neither did Hero. As ye old Zergling rush. This time around, Hero tries to get something resembling a more macro-based game going. And Rogue says, we don't do that around here. Bringing us that much closer to the fateful game number 9. Well, still match point for Hero. The StarCraft 1 race is having a rough go of it, which bodes ill for our StarCraft 1 player in game number 8. Rogue. I have no idea what the rules are. We're on Sylphid, which is... Oh yeah, SC Evo has its own set of maps designed for it, but you can also use regular ladder maps as well. You can play it on, it's an extension mod, which means you can play it on any normal map. And even some that are super weird, but still allow you to add mods. Well, in the bottom right, we have Rogue yet again, the StarCraft 1 drones. Such a weird split so far. I think 2 games of Hero is StarCraft 1. This will be game number 6 of Rogue is StarCraft. I'll ask Enki what the rules are, and we'll put in the description along with everything else that nobody reads. Remind me, Jimmy! What I would love is if it's the loser picks the race of their opponent. Wait, no, not race. I guess technically, but no, I'm confusing myself. Somehow, my brain just melted. I was staring at the geyser for too long. The literal one, not the gas geyser. Anyways, you made it this far. Sometimes I go off on a tangent. That's okay. Citation needed. Usually we bring it back around to something clever, or something less clever, like saying like and subscribe, and treating that like a punctuation mark. So thank you. There's a lot of little doodads. There's a zealot statue. There's a bird. Kakaru. It's just a bird flying around. I don't think I've seen... Like, you can click on it. It's a critter you can click on. I don't think I've seen any bird critters on your more normal, again, standard maps. Huh. That's all I got for that. Do love the look of these SC Evo minerals as well. They do have... So, normal StarCraft 2 mineral patches, there's 1,500 and then there's 900. I'm like 80% sure that's right. Like so the big patches have 15, and then the small patches have 900, and then normal StarCraft 2. But in SC Evo, they all have 15. And the gas catchers have 25 instead of 2250. So 500 more gas, a few thousand more minerals per base. Which means you can more reliably do like 1 and 2 base plays. Not many minutes longer, but at least a couple more before you start mining out. Which I believe is kind of a buff to StarCraft 1 races, especially, because they have less tools to ruin your worker lines, and more tools to take advantage of a stronger economy, even if it's limited. Like, defilers and, I guess, reavers are not a counterexample, but things like adepts and oracles are less effective if you only have 2 bases compared to 3 or 4. Or drops, or even Nidus. StarCraft 2 is more about how can I get past you rather than how can I fight you. Which, again, really puts the real time in strategy. Now, hero, how can I get past you, he asks. And he loads up into the prism, and the main base is quite welcoming. There's a huge main base here with plenty of space to potentially drop out. The Hydras are covering it for now. That bird is unrelated. There is no anti-Earth the natural besides the Hydraless. So the Adepts find their way past the creep colony, get 3 kills. Hydra range isn't quite done, which means the Warp Prism will survive, despite getting dangerously close. And Rogue is down to 32 drones. Gonna work his way through his own creep colony. And the Hydra's slithering forth. But again, without the Hydra range upgrade, a little bit harder to actually track it down. Doubles back. Lair is 3/4 of the way done. There's the range! Hero living life on the edge. Who doesn't love a little edging? somehow survive. 7 HP, 0 fucks. That Warp Prism continues. Charge and +1. Hero joining up with everything on the field. So far, Rogue, he's got the lurkers on the way. And he's expanding to a third base. Has, what, 4 hatcheries going on 5? Overlord taken down. Another Overlord. Well, hung out to dry here, but the Hydra's gonna try to take advantage. And that should, especially without +1, it should be enough Hydras. Bit of a risky business. The force field to try to control the fight. And +1 will finish mid-fight, which could very much turn the tide. Just, the Zealot charges all the way around the force field. And Rogue, he's got the lurker den, or lurkers on the way. But he still has to morph them. Just target. Oh, well, when you don't deal with the prism, I think he'll get it now. Ah, he didn't target! Heroes' prisms have plot armor. I don't understand. Except when they very much don't. And these warp-ins are just devastating. He intentionally set up his base to make it hard for Adepts to move around, but that made it easier for the prism to get damage done. That lack of target fire. Hydra's down the center. There's only one Zealot with all this. Immortals holding the line for now. Hydra's every which way. 11 more Hydras in production. The Zealot's cutting down. The prism again. Why are you like this, hero? That prism with 7 HP and a few shields. Meanwhile, the Immortals battling it out with the Hydras like this is direct strike. The Hydras are gonna win. Another warp-in. Shut down. And Rogue strikes back. Hero dug too deep and too greedily. He loses everything out of the Robo and everything else he warped in. And it is by no means a game-winning victory for Rogue. But he fights to live at least another few minutes. And now he can shore up his economy and his army, getting 2 more extractors, +1 ranged attack versus +1 Protoss ground. And the Zealots charging back, but it just drags them back into the Hydras. A Templar Archives for Hero. But a Dark Shrine is not on the way, and in fact, with Overlords being detectors, it makes it almost impossible. Meanwhile, Hydra's closing in. More Zealots warped in. Rogue maybe biting off more than he can chew. But there's no detection for the lurkers. But the Zealots are charging right past them. The Hydra's trying to hold him in place. It doesn't work out. A bit optimistic to get anything done with the Hydras here. He could maybe target the prism, but the Zealots have already moved around the side. Rogue! What have you done? He's forcing the Zealots to chase him, though. The lurkers are repositioning. These Hydras running around. And might be able to join up, and by the time he does, it's devastating. The charge lots, the lurkers. But the Hydras turn the tide for now. Hero, though, with quite a supply lead. An observer here. That lurker very dead. Trying to keep control of the situation. The lurker egg has so much armor the charge lots can't even scratch it. But once the lurker comes out, it's a lot less well protected. Oh no, another prism in the main! And Rogue thought he had an opportunity to counterattack, but it turned into another disastrous situation. Hold position on the drones is helping out, but the charge lots in the natural, charge lots in the main, charge lots in the third. The Zealotlings are everywhere yet again, and this series could very much end like it started, with random Zealots being thrown every which way until Rogue just kind of dies. It's trending that direction if he can't turn it around soon, and he has no further tech. The lurkers, but there's an observer! There's 2 observers! 11 drones dead, but the Hydras are able to clean things up for now. Now we have to ask ourselves that question. At what cost? "23 Zealots against 23 Hydralisks. 3 Lurkers against 2 Immortals and 2 Archons. Hero has the army to beat, and he only needs 1 more game. The Immortals, Archons, and Charge Launch, the CIA build bearing down. And it's just Hydras and Lurkers to match. There are 4 Observers, if you could take all of them out, but there's nothing to break the force field. The Hydras exploderated up next to it. The rest are caught behind. Another warp may seal the deal. But Hero, I think, has crushed his way through. GG in Korean and English as Rogue falters yet again. A tough go of it. Hero clearly with his command of the StarCraft 2 Protoss and giving us some entertaining StarCraft 1. I'll admit I'm a bit disappointed we didn't force him to play StarCraft 1 more. But still, a relatively close series with some topsy-turvy games. And I want to thank Enki. No, Jimmy! Not you. Enki for putting on the match and for so much more. And if you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome if you could check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking, subscribing, and hyping are still free. At least for now. Thank you to our mule tier patrons for bringing in the extra minerals. Big Jiggy, Devin Door, Kate, Mario, super glad you still enjoy. And to everyone, I hope to see you next time. Make sure to check out this video that Jimmy put right there for you. And also, I think we have a playlist of the SC Evo games. If you're into that, you can check it out, scevo.net. And otherwise, I hope it made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.